Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. You will be missed. Hello, friends. Look, I'm not going to take too long on the intro, but these predictions were supposed to be wild. Some may seem wilder than others, and some may not seem too wild at all. But the way 2023 has been shaping up, and it's only January, it just looks like a continuation of how 2022 ended. Hell, I wouldn't even be shocked if we saw Shane McMahon have a return in the WWE, but I'm not holding my breath. Let the long year continue. Welcome to my channel. My name is CM-GRUNT, aka CM-GRUNT, and this is the second part of my last video. Here's 5 wild WWE or AEW predictions for 2023 in no particular order. And what wild predictions do you have in wrestling this year? Doesn't need to be WWE or AEW. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Side note, I had 5 wild predictions and a secret prediction that Vince will come back to run WWE. Well, it seems like he's forced his way back into power, even if he hasn't exercised said power to run WWE yet. So it remains to be seen whether he keeps his word and doesn't interrupt the day-by-day run-ins, and what it means for Raw and Smackdown. However, he did say he wasn't going to be in the office, but I believe he was in the office within about a week. So can we trust his word? I told a friend one time with Vince's booking decisions that, hey, Vince is gonna Vince, and Vince is Vincing all over this company right now, so we'll see. Oof, I don't like the way how that sounded. Honourable mentions, women's belts will be unified. Technically this is already in the last video, as I predicted Charlotte or Ronda beats Belair, and personally I think it will be Charlotte, and I think she'll still have or will have the belt, whereas if it's Ronda she'll likely be titleless, so I think it hinges on who she faces. Doesn't need to be Belair or any of them though, to be honest, so we'll see. But Belair is likely fighting Rhea Ripley, so you know, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Sami Zayn wins belts from Roman Reigns. As I mentioned in the last video, unless WWE already has a plan for Sami Zayn to win after the Bloodline storyline, I don't see it happening based on a few of this video's predictions. John Cena wins record-breaking title. He's a very busy guy, he's hardly in WWE, and I do not see him, pun intended, coming in and winning another title. But stranger things have happened, and if it means taking the record from Flair, it genuinely could be done. I could say more, but I'm keeping this to a minimum. Let me know in the comments what wild predictions you have for 2023. On to the list. Number 5. Jade Cargill to hit milestone then lose immediately. Or we'll go 2023 unbeaten. This links with the Jade Cargill prediction in the previous video. Go check it out. Her 50th win could link up with Mercedes Moné potentially wrestling in AEW. If Mercedes Moné somehow becomes a part of AEW and challenging Jade links up with her 50th win, I believe she could lose the TBS title immediately after getting that 50th win. But I feel like there is a different candidate that may be more likely, depending on how her recovery is going, and that candidate is Kris Statlander. She was being pushed and groomed as the possible next contender to take the TBS title, and it's possible Jade would have lost her belt already if Statlander didn't get injured. I feel like Statlander is the one they want to take the title, and if she isn't ready to return, Jade could go the whole year without being beaten. Taking the possibility of her being unbeaten aside though, they could add someone like Saraya to the mix, or even drop a women's title contender like Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm, or Britt Baker into the TBS title scene, and her record is in jeopardy after her 50th win, as these are big challenges. Many routes they can go down. Jade is a star and people love her. She could become an anti-hero and get challenged by the newly healed Saraya or Toni Storm. Or let Britt Baker face her and be the babyface, as she has been getting cheered with Jamie Hayter as of late. And as I said before, it will take someone big to beat her, or it will push whoever does beat her. In my last video, my prediction was she'd lose this year, but not until her 50th win. My wild prediction is she loses immediately after that win, especially if one of these stars challenge her then. Then again, one of these big stars could challenge her after her 49th win, so she has a massive obstacle to get her 50th win, which should not be a guarantee. Her 50th win should be a big one, preferably her biggest win to date. I'm releasing this video later than expected, and I've had to edit this entry since it seems like Red Velvet may be her 50th match unless they deliberately hold off on that feud. No disrespect to Red Velvet, but there are bigger and more dangerous names like the ones previously mentioned that would probably be a stronger opponent for Jay's 50th win. My prediction would still be in play if any of this happens for her 50th match though. So, number 4. Rumble return and Mania title win will be an American nightmare. Adrenaline in my soul. Rumble win is Cody Rhodes. Again, written initially before his vignettes and then announcement of him entering the Royal Rumble. It doesn't seem as wild now that he said he is returning, but this would not have been a sure thing as his injury potentially could have kept him out past Mania. Having said that, all these video packages are screaming he is winning the Rumble. The fact that Cody is getting video packages tells me he's set for a big push. In any case, he's returning for the Rumble and his intentions have been made clear since he returned. Now in my other vid, I said Roman will lose both or at least one of his belts to Cody, but I didn't say when, and I believe, especially now with Cody returning at the Rumble, he could be set for a big push on his return, and I'm thinking a Rumble win followed by a Mania win. Before these video packages and him declaring his entry into the Rumble, I would have said this was pretty wild, but now I think it's highly likely he at least wins the Rumble. However, one of the situations which could stop this Rumble and or Mania win from happening would be number 3, an electrifying clash for the head of the table. This is one of the wilder predictions for multiple reasons. The Rock is a big movie star, filming films like The Fastest and the Furious, The Scorpion King's Dad, and the untitled sequel to The Tooth Fairy. I'm just kidding. 'Cause I can. Thank you, Idris. But also because Rock is genuinely one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and with WrestleMania in Hollywood, there's a certain younger cousin who might end up irking The Rock by claiming to be the head of the table. I acknowledge you, Roman. Please don't powerbomb me through a table, or else you'll have nowhere to be the head of. WWE have been trying to get this match going for a while, and this could be the time to lock it down. Another reason why this is wild is why would WWE allow Rock to win the belts as he is a part-timer? I mean, it's not stopped them from doing it before, but he won't be around after Mania, and they are moulding Cody, not to mention Sami Zayn is very over. But there has been talk that if they have a match, it will be for the belts. There were teasers that The Rock could be at Raw XXX. Don't search for this in your internet browser. And this match could be set up at that show, which this video has been completed before, and I'm not going back to edit after the show. Initially, all members and generations of the bloodline were supposed to be there for a celebration, although I heard that this may not be the plan anymore. But what if Rock returned and challenges Roman for his titles to show who is head of the table, or to just be the head of the table? It's possible The Rock does not show, perhaps because he wasn't invited, which sets up him to return later to challenge Roman, maybe because of disrespect. Or maybe he was invited and declined the invite, which sends Reigns into a spiral and could even tie into the Sami Zayn storyline with the bloodline turning on him. I'm sorry, I've got my fantasy booking hat on at the moment. It is even a possibility that The Rock returns and wins the Rumble. It'll be interesting to see how the fans take that. But I reckon Cody could change that scenario. Cody could lose, paving the way for Rocky to take the belts. Or Cody could win one belt, allowing Rock to win the other. However, 2 losses in 2 nights at WrestleMania would be unthinkable for a man who hasn't been pinned in over 2 years. So I don't see Roman losing in both nights. As I said, I think it would be odd for WWE to put the belts on Rock. So I think worst case scenario, Cody will win a belt, but Roman will beat Rock, so he still has a title coming out of Mania. Or Cody takes both belts and they battle it out for head of the table, which is what I think they should do if they are not incorporating Sami Zayn into this for a title. I think this is one of the wildest predictions. I don't see it happening, if I'm being honest. But hey, Vince retired this year and then returned. And now I'm sad. Number 2, a glowing bank statement back in WWE. Another prediction ruined by me writing a script, then being too sick to record and edit, then situations changing on a daily basis. I wrote this before Sasha debuted at New Japan, but hear me out, there's a method to my madness. Let me try and paint a picture of how this may have worked out and how it could still work despite her arrival in NJPW. It was pretty well known that Sasha was going to New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom to begin a rivalry with Kairi. This was probably the worst kept secret in wrestling since a certain someone with CM in his name, not this guy, but this guy, returned to wrestling after a 7-year hiatus. What I don't think has been clarified yet is what the contract will be, how many matches, how many years, and what her involvement will be, etc. But with Carl Anderson wrestling for New Japan, defending his belt, Shinsuke Nakamura also wrestling in another company, and although it's not been confirmed yet, Kairi has been rumoured as a Royal Rumble contestant. So who's to say that Sasha couldn't return to WWE after or even during a few contracted matches in New Japan? It could be the biggest swing of the Forbidden Door opening since Forbidden Door. The only thing that made me think that this wouldn't happen was Banks was heavily rumoured to be Saraya's partner on AEW Dynamite, but that ended up being a red rooster. Sorry, a red herring. However, she could still turn up in AEW, but I don't know. But now we know she is in New Japan and could be for a length of time. But as mentioned at the start of the video, Vince is back in power, and although he said he isn't going to change anything and is only there to oversee any potential sale of the company, the fact is he has power again. And as I said in my last video, Vince is like a dog with a bone. So how long he will stay away from the company's day-to-day runnings and the wrestling product itself, we will have to wait and see. So as unlikely as it is, if Triple H is still in charge and there are more inter-promotional shows, she can still run these matches in New Japan and go back to WWE. She could even use her new name. She could even use both names. Kairi could still turn up at the Rumble in WWE. Can you imagine Kairi and the Boss turn up at the Rumble in the heat of a New Japan rivalry? Not gonna lie, it's highly unlikely, but it's not impossible. And the fact she didn't debut in AEW yet makes me believe there's still a possibility, even if it's slim. Which brings me to Naomi. I love Naomi. I think she's great in all aspects of the word. I think they've been doing her dirty for far too long. Should have been in the title picture. They still haven't given her a satisfiable conclusion to the nonsense that was her feud with Sonya Deville. Remember, other than the Royal Rumble, she didn't really get any redemption that she deserved. That redemption was reserved for Ronda wins LOL. It'll be great for her to put an exclamation point on that rivalry, although it's probably done for now. And let's not forget her husband is one half of the tag champions as of this recording. I don't think we know her contract status, so I see her coming back to the Big E. Hell, bring her into the bloodline. Why not Big Lad? Or Big Dog? Or Big Chief, who is tribal? I've been calling for that for a long time, and it would be nice to have some females in the bloodline. Oh, and speaking of that guy with CM in his name, number 1, All Elite Punk. This could be the least likely of any of these to happen, Mercedes Moné and maybe The Rock aside. In just 1 year, Punk seems disillusioned with wrestling again. He returned to wrestling, fell back in love with it, had some banging feuds, wrestled some stellar matches, cut some killer promos, did some eye-covering but hilarious botches, became AEW champion, lost it in a squash match, then won it back at All Out, said some stuff resulting in a brawler, and became seemingly disillusioned with wrestling again. It's the way the Cookie Monster crumbles sometimes, but this is crazy Marmite Punk we are talking about. You either love him or you hate him. He can be an acquired taste and even leave a nasty aftertaste with some, but you cannot deny that he was a draw. Or maybe you can deny it. I'm not your father. Point is, he definitely helped AEW in the ratings when he was on the show. So, what if he came back? He makes them money. I'm sure Tony Khan wants to make money, and I'm sure Punk wants to make money if the money's right. Now, yes, I know it comes down to the locker room and the leaders and the EVPs. But if Punk is willing to play ball, and I heard that he might be, and everyone begins to work amicably, there is money to be made here. And for the right price, I believe Punk returns to AEW. Not just returns to wrestling, I think it's AEW or nobody. I don't think he's returning to WWE. I still don't think he's on the best terms with Triple H. And if Vince was in power, I mean, he kinda is, but as of this writing, Triple H is still head of creative and doing the hiring. But it's Vince who fired Punk on his wedding day. I don't know if he's lost his love of wrestling again, but if he hasn't lost it, does he have enough of a love for it to return to the Big E? I think central midfielder Punk will return to AEW, and I think it will have something to do with MJF. As mentioned in my last video, I see MJF staying champ for the whole year. But what if CM Punk comes to try and take the belt off him? Or what if Punk sees MJF as the next or the new him and decides to keep him at the top? He could even turn on MJF, leaving them to feud before Max potentially leaves in 2024. There's a possible Punk and FTR versus the Elite feud to be had. If all parties can agree, I believe as wild as this is, it can happen. But honestly, wilder things have happened, and it's already been a crazy January. And that's the list. Tried to keep it short and sweet, but short and sweet is not my forte. More wrestling videos will be coming throughout the year, so if you did enjoy what you see, please like and subscribe. You can catch me doing gaming streams and the occasional wrestling discussions over on Twitch and here on YouTube, so check out my socials in the description. Leave a comment down below if there are any wild predictions you have, or if mine are way off the mark. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I'll see you in a bit.